What if I told you that the smartest people in the room almost never go straight for what they want, and that's exactly why they always get it? There's a tiny story, barely a minute long, about an old man and a bag of birdseed. And I promise you, by the time it's over, you're going to rethink the way you solve every problem in your life. Stay with me, because the twist at the end of this one hits harder than you'd expect. One quiet Saturday morning, an old man shuffled around his kitchen, mumbling to himself the way old men do when they've lived long enough to stop worrying about what anyone thinks. He grabbed his coat, patted his pockets, and headed for the door. His grandson, sitting at the kitchen table with a bowl of cereal, caught just a few words floating through the air. Something about millet, something about the stray cat that had wandered onto their property a few weeks back and simply decided to stay. The boy looked up, genuinely confused. "Grandpa," he called out, "you're buying birdseed for the cat? What are you going to do? Cook it a little porridge?" The old man paused in the doorway, turned around slowly, and gave his grandson the kind of look that only comes from 70-some years of figuring things out the hard way. He let out a short, dry laugh. "Cook it?" he said. "Boy, I'm going to scatter that millet right out front by the steps. The sparrows will come, they always do. And then?" He gave a small, satisfied nod toward the old tabby sleeping in the corner. "Then I'll let him do what cats were born to do." The boy stared for a long moment. The old man winked, stepped outside, and the screen door swung shut behind him. Here's what that old man understood, and what most of us spend years trying to learn the hard way. The shortest path to your goal is almost never a straight line. The wisest people don't exhaust themselves fighting against the current. Instead, they study the current, understand the current, and then use it to carry them exactly where they need to go. They don't force outcomes, they engineer conditions. They think one step upstream, so that everything downstream falls naturally into place. In business, in relationships, in parenting, in life, the ones who win aren't always the strongest or the loudest. They're the ones who ask a different question. Not, "How do I get what I want?" but, "What already exists in this situation that I can work with?" That old man didn't fight the cat's nature. He didn't retrain it, didn't beg it, didn't drag it anywhere. He simply understood what the cat needed and created the conditions for it to happen on its own. That's not laziness. That's wisdom with a strategy attached. So the next time you're up against a wall, stuck on a problem that won't budge no matter how hard you push, take a breath. Step back and ask yourself, what's the millet in this situation? What small, quiet move could I make right now that sets everything else in motion? And now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, has there been a moment in your life where you solved the problem sideways instead of head-on? Where you found the smart path instead of the hard one? Your story might be exactly what someone else scrolling through right now desperately needs to hear. Every single comment genuinely means the world to me. It tells me that these stories are landing, that they're worth sharing, and that this community is worth building. So don't be shy. Let's think together.